She drove 75 miles to get her nails done. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's a little much. And you know what? You're not wrong. 75 miles is roughly the distance from Midtown Manhattan to the Connecticut border. It is, objectively, a lot of driving for a nail appointment. Unless the nail appointment is actually working. This is month 4. 4 visits. And yes, she comes partly to see family, but she books me every single time. I've stopped asking whether it's the nails or the family reunion. The nails don't lie. But here's the part of this story that I actually want you to understand. We started in December, and I don't have photos of December. I want to tell you why. When someone walks into your space with nails that have been bitten down to almost nothing, nails so short the plate barely covers the fingertip, your first instinct should not be to grab your phone. Your first instinct should be to listen. Because bitten nails are not a nail problem. They're an anxiety problem that lives on someone's hands. And this client? A college student, final exams, the kind of pressure that makes people do things with their fingers they'd never do otherwise. She needed a technician, not a photographer. What I do have is last month's footage, and as you can see, we were doing beautifully. Not one lift, not one break. She told me, and I'm quoting directly here, "These nails survive everything." She types for hours. She gestures when she talks, very much so. She's Italian adjacent in her expressiveness, and not one nail broke. That is not luck. That is hard gel with correct architecture, and that is what we're talking about today. 3 months of work, 4 appointments, 75 miles every time. This is what trust in a process looks like, even when the process is slow, even when December felt impossible. Let's talk about what's happening on the skin before we talk about what's happening on the nail, because these two things are not separate. They are the same story. My client still picks at the skin around her nails. She hasn't completely stopped. Finals week is a full contact sport, and anxiety doesn't disappear because you booked a nail appointment. What it does do, though, if you're consistent, is get smaller, more manageable. The nails are healthy, the skin is healing. Progress is not perfection. Progress is direction. Now, let's talk about what happens when you rip a hangnail. I know you do it. Everyone does it. It's sitting there, slightly lifted, and your brain says, one quick pull, it'll be fine. It is never fine. What you're actually doing when you tear living skin is breaking the protective barrier. Every tear creates a microabrasion. Every microabrasion creates scar tissue. Scar tissue dries out faster. Dry skin lifts, and suddenly you have more hangnails than you started. It is a subscription service you never signed up for. I want you to notice something about this moment on screen right now. Do you hear that sound? That low, consistent hum of the e-file working around the cuticle? People pay $150 an hour for a hot stone massage. They book float tanks, they buy meditation apps. And what I'm doing right here, what you're hearing, is the same nervous system response. The gentle vibration, the removal of everything unnecessary, the arrival of clarity. I call this the diamond meditation, not because it sounds fancy, although it does, but because diamond bits polish. They refine. They do not cut. They do not damage. They reveal what was already there. The protocol is precise. I start with the blue drop bit, lower grit, more surface area, for the initial work around the lateral folds and the dead skin layer. Then I transition to the red ball bit for the cuticle area specifically. Blue drop, then red ball. The red ball bit works the way a good deep tissue therapist works on a tight shoulder. It finds the resistance, it works with it, it doesn't force anything. No nippers, no blade on living skin, no shortcuts that cost the client skin barrier damage 2 weeks later. E-file only, always. Now the material. Because in this case, the choice of material is not aesthetic, it's structural. My client has what I call a springboard nail. The plate grows upward rather than following the natural curve of the finger. Genetics, years of biting, postural habits, it doesn't matter why. What matters is what we do about it. I use hard gel, not acrylic, not soft gel, hard gel. 3 reasons, very fast. 1, Hard gel has flex memory. It bends under impact and returns to shape instead of snapping. For a student who types 8 hours a day and apparently gestures like she's conducting a symphony, flex memory is not optional. 2. Hard gel allows me to build corrective architecture on a short plate. I can position the apex, control the stress point, create an oval that sits correctly on a springboard nail without faking it. 3. When you remove hard gel, you file it off. You don't soak it in acetone for 20 minutes while the natural plate underneath quietly dissolves its dignity. Hard gel respects the nail it lives on. This is the part of the appointment I love most. Not because it's the most technically difficult, though it is, but because it's the part where the story of this nail becomes visible. Every nail I build is a problem I'm solving. The springboard curve, the short plate, the psychological weight of someone who has looked at her hands for years and felt like they were beyond repair. They were not beyond repair. They were waiting. The architecture sequence today, after e-file prep, I apply hard gel in a corrective build. More product at the center of the plate to force the apex into position and counteract the upward growth angle. Flash cure after application to lock the shape before it migrates. Then, and this is critical, filing comes after the gel, not before, after. The gel sets the structure. The file reveals the form. If you file before you build, you are sculpting air. You are polishing a problem, not solving it. The shape today, soft oval. She asked for it, and for her plate, the springboard curve, the short plate, oval is also the correct architectural answer. Oval distributes stress evenly across the free edge. It doesn't create the side stress points that a square or squoval does. For a nail rebuilding from almost nothing, oval is not just beautiful, it is an engineering decision. The color request today was a soft pastel pink. One of those pinks that doesn't announce itself, it suggests. It's the color you wear to a PhD defense and also to your best friend's baby shower. It's the color that somehow looks expensive without trying. I respect a color that's not trying too hard. Encapsulation step before top coat, I clean the underside of the free edge and laminate with top coat from underneath. This seals the structure. Water, soap, stress, nothing gets under the nail. This is the step most nail technicians skip because clients don't see it, and it adds 90 seconds to the appointment. Those are the most important 90 seconds. The ones nobody films. 2 small gold stars, one on each ring finger. Why the ring finger? Because the ring finger is the quietest finger. It's the one that rests while you type, the least involved in the physical expression of anxiety. It is her favorite finger. Today, it got its reward. And since we're here, the sticker trick, because I get this question every single week. Why do my nail stickers fall off after 2 days? I'll tell you why. You're placing them directly on top coat, and top coat is designed to be smooth, non-porous, and slightly repellent. It is essentially a non-stick pan. You would not glue something to a non-stick pan and expect it to stay. Here is the correct sequence. Place your sticker, apply base coat over it, cure under the lamp, then apply top coat over the cured base coat. The sticker is now encapsulated. It is going nowhere. I have seen stickers outlast relationships using this method. 3 months, 4 visits, 75 miles. This is what a process looks like when you don't abandon it, when you come back even though the progress is invisible at first, when you trust but the nail growing under the gel is growing correctly because the environment above it is correct. The skin still has work to do. The exams aren't over. But the nails? The nails are doing their job. If you're still here, and the fact that you're still here tells me something about you, you understand that this video was not about nail polish. It was about what happens when someone decides to stop abandoning a part of themselves that feels broken, and then finds a technician who agrees it's worth fixing. If you have bitten nails, brittle nails, nails that have been through chemical warfare at other salons, stay. I have more cases like this. I have more stories where the starting point looked impossible and the ending point looked like this. Distance is not an excuse. 75 miles is proof. If this video gave you something, hit like. Subscribe if you want to see where this client is in another 3 months, because we're not done and neither is she. And leave me a comment. What is your biggest nail struggle right now? I read every single one. Not my assistant, me. Usually with coffee, always with an opinion. Beauty that is above all safe. See you next month.